Oh my God, we're gonna go long a little bit. So Stankfield has Don Jr. on. It's a relatively short clip, so we'll finish on this tonight, and I'll get back to work. Good Lord.
Well, for more on America's left-wing corporate activism, I'd like to bring in the executive vice president for the Trump Organization, Donald,
who's an expert on left-wing activists.
Trump Jr.
Who apparently, he's live from New York.
It's great to have you back on the program.
Good to be with you.
Good to be with you.
Scratching your head as much as we are about this move to Denver, Colorado?
Yeah, totally. I'm confused about it. It's ridiculous. Yes, it does look like an SNL cold open.
It's ridiculous. You hit some of the statistics and some of the things they were complaining about as it related to the new Georgia laws were frankly just lies pushed by the Biden administration. I mean, he went out there and made all sorts of claims as to what it was, and it wasn't. The Washington Post, of all people.
You do realize you're on the network where Greg Kelly read the part about the water thing. You can't hand out water. Can't pass it out. You can't give it out. Nonpartisan or partisan, it doesn't matter. You can't hand it out. There can be a bucket near the door. If you run out, you're done. What part of this is weird?
The Amazon Washington Post, Jeff Bezos's liberal hit machine, actually gave Joe Biden 4 Pinocchios because of his statements about what was going on in Georgia. Now, that doesn't stop the Biden administration from
calling it Jim Crow on steroids.
Continuing to lie. Jen Psaki, his press secretary, got out and doubled down on the comments, even after being called out by their own side on the non.
And by their own side, he means the Washington Post.
Nonsense, but that's all it is.
Which arguably would get you 4 Pinocchios in the Washington Post for arguing that the Washington Post is on the side of Democrats, especially in regard to an article where it gave them 4 Pinocchios.
It's nonsense. They say, oh, they didn't want to let people have water in line. No, they just didn't want people in campaign paraphernalia handing out food and beverages right.
Yeah, that's already outlawed.
When you're coming in to vote, essentially.
You already can't. You can't wear the stuff.
They don't want people being.
You can't campaign on the site. You can just pass out water.
Able to bribe you for a vote.
With a bottle of water.
Not exactly crazy. Like you said, there's 15 days in Colorado early voting, 17 in Georgia. Atlanta, 52%.
Yeah, but because almost everyone in Colorado votes by mail, that amounts, that 15 days, there's nobody in line. If the 17 days early in Georgia, that's a good amount of people. You can go down there and spend a lot of time trying to vote early. In Colorado, there's fucking no one.
% African American. Denver, 10%. This is corporate wokeism simply for the sake of wokeism. There's actually.
Yeah, they don't do it for any other reason. It's basically they have a big spinning wheel in their boardroom, and they go, "Which is it? Woke Wednesdays now?"
Nothing woke about this move.
Well, then why would they do it for woke's sake?
Actually took probably $100 million plus that would have been infused into a predominantly minority and African American community in Atlanta and put it in a predominantly white and wealthy community in Denver. That's not wokeism as far as I'm concerned, but.
Well, maybe they're not doing it based on race. They're doing it based on, punishing the state overall because the state gets more tax revenues out of that than the impact of the actual city of Atlanta.
With today's left, you never know. Common sense is clearly out the window.
Sorry, is it in Atlanta every year? Do they count on it as a regular thing, or is it rotated around? Oh, it's rotated around, and it's a private company, and it's their purview?
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
Commies.
Look, your father was kind enough to come on Newsmax earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, it was riveting.
I want to run you a sound.
In the afternoon? That was on in the afternoon?
What he had to say about all of this. Let's listen and I'll get your reaction.
Oh, great. We get to hear it twice in one day.
I would say boycott baseball. Why not? I think what they did was a terrible thing. I think it's a very unfair thing. And they didn't even know the bill. And, in fact, I think they were aware of the bill as it was going along. Everybody was okay with it. Then as soon as Stacey Abrams speaks up, they end up folding.
Don, I'm curious.
Yeah, that's the thing that Donald Trump had that other people didn't. He could stand up to Stacey Abrams.
You're executive vice president, a huge organization.
Well, a family business, and it's basically a branding operation.
Don't officers of corporations like this have a fiduciary duty to shareholders?
Fiduciary, sure.
There's one to stay out of politics and make sure that the companies are making money.
No, not to stay out of politics. As a matter of fact, that's what Stephanie Rule was arguing earlier in the program, was that they're actually trying to help their bottom line by arguing for democracy, because they know that if their country isn't based in a country like ours, setting it up in another country that doesn't have that is way more expensive, ultimately.
You would think so, but the problem is, there's no social penalty to being woke, to being a complete leftist, to being a total partisan. But what's really
Well, sure there is.
nice is that after
one of the penalties would be that Joe Biden beats you in the primaries.
decades of sitting aside, turning the other cheek, Republicans have allowed us to get trampled. But
That's right. They're just wusses.
this week, we actually saw Republican lawmakers and otherwise finally start to push back. Georgia lawmakers, they fought back on Delta, who was doing the same thing. Delta Airlines, they said, hey, let's revoke some of your tax status. I put out a tweet saying,
Yeah, do it. Please, let them move to another state.
hey, MLB should lose some of their, statuses that they get and the protections that they get. And, a few congressmen and then ultimately senators.
How can
Marco
this not
Rubio,
be more...
Ted.
Seriously, how can this not be more like ultimately Putin's plan? Like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go in there, I want you to make people hate baseball and fight the baseball and say that it's un-American, needs to be shut down. Get rid of baseball, like forever, just end it. Try to drive it out of business. And the other thing is, I want the American domestic airlines to completely flatline. I want it basically stand still, like a 9/11 every day.
Ted Cruz sort of got on this movement of, hey, let's pull, MLB's special treatment if they're going to be partisan this way. So if Republicans start fighting back,
They don't get any special treatments.
rather than simply turning the other cheek and letting the other side win, I think this actually goes away. I think, unfortunately, the only cure for cancel culture is actually fighting back with some of the canceling until people realize it's...
There you go. There you have it. Cancel culture works, according to Don Jr. It's just we have to do it because we're on the receiving end of it all the time. Yeah.
a zero-sum game.
It totally is. Isn't life a zero-sum game? When you're writing that book.
Shareholders should be watching. They should be holding these woke CEOs that are making bad decisions for their companies, that are infusing politics into something that doesn't need to be political, and they're destroying shareholder value. They should be responsible for this. They should be held accountable.
Yeah, except their long-term fiduciary duty, as America's pastime, being seen as pro-voting and making sure that everybody has the opportunity to vote, long-term is just going to help their bottom line. I mean, this is the same argument for, not letting Jackie Robinson into the league.
The media will give them a pass, but if shareholders...
Just these woke people want to bring in black players just to be woke.
Get active the way some of these Republican politicians finally did. After years of just getting run over and steamrolled, I think there's some hope.
Yeah, I hope you're right on this. I watched your father teach Republicans finally how to fight again, and then as soon as...
Yeah, so great. And then as soon as he leaves, it's like they didn't learn anything. It's like he's a terrible teacher or something.
He leaves office, it seems like
they forgot everything that he taught them.
Sudden go wuss.
Except Matt Gaetz, who is obviously
on me, and people are frustrated. We want the gloves off. We want them fighting here. So I'll ask you, your father has 74, 80, 90 million followers.
60.
What do you tell them? What can all of us at home do?
Well, you know what he tells them. He sends them an email, and they can send him money. That's what you tell them. We need your money. That's what you
to push back.
We need money, your money right now, all your money. Check this box and keep giving us money and give us all your money, retiree. Give us, the $500 you were going to give $1,000 every week for the next 10 weeks. Give us your money. That's the message.
Against this nonsense.
Listen, I think you said it best. I mean, he taught Republicans how to fight. My book, Liberal Privilege, was about that. Trump being able to show, and now they...
And nobody read it. That's weird. If they'd only read the book and listened to the lessons, they wouldn't be...
Forget. But I think if those 75 million, 80 million people and more, there's going to be a lot more that probably are just quiet. They look at what Joe Biden...
Yeah, they're the silent supporters.
...doing.
But, I mean, obviously they're Macedonians and they're, Indian people who get paid to watch videos all day.
They see what's going on the border. They see what's happening with their jobs. They watch us ceding control to China, and they have buyer's remorse. If those people step up, they start pushing back, they start being vocal, they stop cowering in a corner, being afraid of being canceled, I promise you we can get through this thing. For me, if they don't try to cancel me 50 times a day, I wonder what's going on. I start to wonder how they're plotting against me. We just can't be
that sounds healthy.
Afraid of the nonsense. If we push back and we fight back intelligently, we can actually win.
What are you fighting and pushing back on? What's the fight here? I know you keep saying fight, and you got to fight, and you got to teach people how to fight, and you're fighting. I don't know what the fuck you're fighting for. Limiting the ability of people to vote? If you're worried about voter ID, pass a bill that makes everybody get a voter ID. Actually has a nationwide national ID card. Get that through the Republican committees. Get that through anywhere in this country through Republicans.
Win this battle, but we have to be engaged. You can't just have Donald Trump doing it by himself and maybe me screaming in the background. We all need to be a part of this movement. Again, if you're a shareholder,
send your check
of these companies, if they're part of your 401k, if you're a fan of baseball, let them know that this kind of stuff and this kind of nonsense is unacceptable.
Cancel them.
They don't need to infuse themselves. They certainly don't need to take fake talking points and run with them as though they are the gospel, because that's exactly what happened. The Biden administration, because there's no one in the media willing to actually fact check them, even if the Washington Post did for the...
So no one in the media is willing to fact check them except the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, that fact checked them.
First time ever, they can just get away with...
For the first time ever. Really? Really? Is that, or would that be fake news?
They can make stuff up, and it's okay, it's no problem. It's Joe Biden. He can't remember where he is. Don't worry, we'll give him a pass on this one. Hold them accountable. Don't let them get away with it. You have to stay active. If you're not in this fight, and we're not in this together, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, if we're not in this together, and by that, I mean me and your checkbook.
Well, on this program, we talk a lot about Stinchfield's Army, and that's everybody.
Yeah, we do. Do we? We talk about it. We, meaning me and the two people I have on staff here at Newsmax that I share with the other 5 hosts.
Watching this, clearly.
Yeah, the people who are watching this, they're lining up. Obviously, paid views aside, 34,000 people watching this. Nothing to sneeze at. We got 1.8 million subscribers. So it's more like Stankfield's militia, but you get my point. You know what I mean? You would.
A small part of the Trump army that is out there, and
yeah, that's what it is. It's more like a brigade.
And I say follow your
Don Jr. seems paranoid for some reason.
Lead. Your father.
Does Coke make you paranoid?
Lead, and make sure you get engaged. Run for office. Last question for you. Speaking of running I tell people run for local office. Run for your school board. Don Jr., any chance you run for office soon?
Well, listen, there's a really good chance I'm going to be very involved no matter what.
Yeah, we're making money off this. This is crazy.
I got the bug for the game. Again, unlike so many Republicans and, conservatives, I actually have the stomach for the fight. So, when they attack me, it doesn't bother me at all. I sort of look...
I don't have any ethics, so they can't attack them.
It as a badge of honor. Not many on our side have that. I guess that's what allowed me to sort of create a little bit of a name for myself within the movement as well. So
No, you don't have a little name for yourself. You have your dad's name. You literally have your dad's name. You literally.
I'm going to stay involved. I don't know about office. You got to, make sure you want to do that. Maybe in someday, but today.
That sounds like leadership. You got to make sure you want to do that maybe in someday.
For the coming years, I'm going to be helping candidates who are fighting for the MAGA movement, fighting for the American worker,
making money off of
sure
them.
The Republican Party continues its transition to be the party of working class America. The Democrats, they're the party of the elite, and they're the party of illegal immigrants. They forgot all.
Yeah, the elite illegal immigrants that are coming over. using merit, I guess.
About the real Americans in the middle, the working class. They've totally abandoned them. I want to make sure we're fighting for those MAGA Republicans and MAGA conservatives that make up the American working class. And I'm going to fight for them very hard.
Well,
yeah, because you can't fight smart.
I know you will. I know your father will, and I know the rest of your family will. And we appreciate you bringing that fight right here to the program on Newsmax. Donald Trump Jr., thank you. I can't wait.
Woke culture. Jesus Christ. Did they just get, seriously, did they just get, like, marching orders?
See you again.
Thanks, guys. Be well.
Thank guys. Be well. And by guys, I mean you, one person.